was a unique volunteer, and then he was from Yorktown, Virginia. So we didn't see Rich every week or all the meetings. We saw him once a year at Rev Times. And a few of us always were perplexed by it and approached him one year and said, Rich, you know, you're practically living in Mecca. You live in Yorktown, you got Jamestown next to you, and you got Williamsburg. Why do you keep driving up here every year, you know, 5 or 6 hours? He'd stay at the motel down at the corner. Sally Dank would put him up, and he'd be here from, you know, Thursday or Friday until Monday and literally do anything. And what he said to us, he said, they're not nice to me down there. He said, I come up here and you guys take care of me. You're so happy to see me. That's the highlight of my year. He'd take a week off from work and he'd drive up here to volunteer at Brandywine. And he loved George and Judy, and I wish they were here today. And he made a good connection with Sally Dank, which some of you may know is the president over at Sanderson Museum, and he just touched a lot of us in a very special way. Another interesting story about Rich, you see on his little plaque there that he was a command sergeant major. He was in the Army for 30 years. We never knew that until probably 2004. Every year at Rev Times on the Sunday would have a ceremony, would either honor police, fire, EMS, or a veteran. And we had gone out to eat with Rich on Friday night, Rex and I and a couple of the other reenactors, and we'd worked all day doing setup, and we're sitting there, and we had not picked who the honoree was going to be yet for Sunday. So we're sitting there lamenting, what are we going to do? And, you know, and we're just in conversation, and Rich mentioned, well, I was in the Army. Really? Well, I was in the Army for 30 years. Really? And he was so quiet and unassuming. He was a giant of a guy, but he was so quiet, he was a gentle giant. And found out that he was a command sergeant major. He'd done 30 years. He had done 4 tours in Vietnam. And he goes on to tell us, he said he'd 30 years got out in 87. I said, well, 57, so you're in at the very beginning. When the advisors were there, well, he went on to tell us that he was involved in the battle at the Ai Drang Valley. And if you remember the movie, We Were Soldiers, We Were Young with Mel Gibson, he was in that battle. And, you know, just amazing. But he retired from the Army in 87, and then he went to work for the post office. So he always stayed in public service, and he loved this place. You know, would work all day. I remember the year that Rex redid the museum shop, and Rex and I had been here pretty much all night, and Rex wanted to open that morning, and we were missing some things. He was missing some cords and whatever, and Rich walks in. He says, well, I'll go get them. So he went down to Staples or wherever he had to go, and he comes back with all this stuff that Rex needed. Rex said, well, give me the receipts. Nope, I'll take care of it. There's just so many little things that he did. He donated one of the big tents that we use for school groups. He was an amazing volunteer. We're always going to remember Rich, and he loved this place, and when we come up here, we'll always think of him.
Hear, hear.
Thanks.
I can't add anything.
Well, you're right about the part about how he was treated. He told me that. I work with him every time him and I were like dating over there. You know, he'd tell me about when he treated the volunteers very well.